Good afternoon. Welcome to this session of the Black Family Home Educator and Scholars second annual teach-in. My name is Dr. Cheryl Fieldsmith. I'm one of the co-founders of Black Family Home Educators and Scholars, along with Dr. Khadijah Ali Coleman. The title of this session is Strategies for Cultivating Passion-preneurship in Your Youth. And today we are so honored to have the queen of homeschooling among us, the founder of the Black Expo, and she is going to share with you about passion-preneurship. Go ahead, Queen.
Greetings. I just want to greet everyone and say Madasi. Thank you to all of you being here. I'm so excited. This is our second year coming together at the Black Family Educators and Scholars Conference, the Teach-In, which was absolutely Blacknificent last year. So it's great to be back here again. So first, just want to congratulate you for this second year. And it just keeps getting better and better. And I just want to welcome and celebrate all of you for taking the steps of action to bring more fruitfulness to the lives of your children and your families. Today, I'll be talking about strategies for cultivating passionpreneurship in our youth. And so for those of you that don't know, I am Queen Taese. I'm a mother of 7. I've been homeschooling for about 25 years now. An educator for almost 30 years. So this really is my passion. And so I definitely explain it from the heart and soul of my own journey, as well as the journey of my children and other families that have done similar things around me. All right. So if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. I love this proverb. And I love it because a lot of times along the way, we worry about the investment of time and money, and we feel like, oh, wow, it's a lot, it's overwhelming in our children's success. And one thing that I want to say that if we don't invest now, we will have to invest later and pay a bigger price. And we want our children to have a future that is aligned with their divine purpose, with who they are, with a love of learning. And so I say anything that is worth anything takes some form of investment. One of my greatest scholars that I love, his name is Nana Amos Wilson. He says, what does ignorance of business, money, and wealth cost African people? Our refusal as Black people to confront the issue of money and wealth is going to end up with our very lives being threatened as a people on this earth. And we see a lot of that happening right now with everything happening with the pandemic and what's occurring right now. A lot of people are in dire straits. A lot of people are trying to figure out plans of action. And of course, it takes money and it takes wealth to be able to make movements. I don't only just equate wealth with money, which is why I talk about passionpreneurship over entrepreneurship. Also, I want to think about Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful means nothing in this world unless we are Black and powerful. So as we know the power and greatness of who we are and our legacy, it is very important that we begin to build an economic structure for our children and families and teach that through a cultural practice along the process of moving through. Passionpreneurs over entrepreneurs. Okay, passion for me, I'm going to give my explanation of this. Passion equals divine purpose, which equals wealth. And to me, when we think about success of our children in their endeavors in business, passion is right there at the top, because creating wealth to me is a very spiritual process, which creates the energy of currency. So when we think about long-term investments, right? The greatest investment should be in our passion, the things that we love, the things that we were divinely and uniquely sent here to do. And we know that our children each have their own divine purpose. And that's one of the main things why I love homeschooling, because we can teach specifically to our children's divine purpose, to who they are and what they've come here to do on this planet and contribute to the world. So I love the quote from Chico Kua, Baba Chico Kua. It is consciousness. It builds capital in consciousness. When we talk about the information that we want our children to have, right? We want to make sure that what they're learning builds capital and consciousness. So their capital meaning it brings wealth to the family, abundance, money, and with a level of consciousness with whatever it is that they do, we make sure that it's giving back to our community and empowering our community as well. So I love thinking about our businesses of our young people. I love saying empires. I generally don't say entrepreneurship anymore. I usually keep it to passionpreneurship. And I talk about building empires versus just a business because the legacy of our greatness has always been in building empire structures throughout generations. And so when we think of an empire, we think of infrastructure. We think of systems in order. We think of longevity and intergenerational wealth. We think of familyhood and ujamaa, which actually means ujamaa, which we know to mean cooperative economics, but it actually means familyhood, which shows the power of family working together to build wealth. Culture and preservation, power, power, and sustainability. We want to make sure that we're thinking about all of those things. And when we speak to our children about building business, hey, you're not building a business, you're building an empire. And what are the things we're going to do that we need to do with them is explain to them what is the definition of that. Put all of these different definitions in to their understanding. So it's more than just a hobby or something to do, but it becomes an obligation of them learning more about the things that they're passionate about and finding ways that they can create wealth within that. Also, our children are the seeds of change. Our children are stepping up. I love it. I think this is just a wonderful time for us to be able to cultivate our young people. There's so many resources out here now for our Black children to thrive in whatever it is they do. And I think a lot of it sometimes as parents, the things that our children want to do sometimes are not things that we know about or things that we're knowledgeable about. However, we also are on a journey. We can learn on that process is building with our children in addition to them learning also. Now, one of the things that I do want to get into is the importance of defining our own success while setting clear goals. Okay, so how do you define success? Is it in alignment with your family values? I think it's very important at first to set the goals that you want to do as if your child has an interest in creating a business and starting a business. What are going to be the definitions of success that you want to use? And a lot of times we have to let go of some of the definitions of success that we've been taught along the way because they are made up of the colonized mind, and we want to release that and look at what are the core family values that we have. So when I think about success working with my children throughout the years and along the years, I really don't just look at financial success and success of money, but there's so many other benefits, and it's such a enriching experience with all the people they meet, the things that they learn, and we'll get into a little bit later along the line a lot of the benefits that come with this. So just defining what are your goals for your children, because sometimes your goals may be a little different. Their goals might be, well, I want to just make some money, and I just want to do what I love. And so it's very important that you set out clear goals of the things that you want your children to achieve. Look at the goals that they would like to achieve, have them write, you write them down, they write them down. And then how will you sync those goals together to have some conversations around, what it is that you're going to be working towards so everybody is on one page. I always say our life is our curriculum and our curriculum is our mindset. And the universe is our classroom and our culture is our cure. I love this phrase because when I think about business and educating our children around passionpreneurship, I think about culture, right? We have a rich African culture for many, many, many years that really dives deep into the marketplace, right? And building business on the greatest of levels. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. And turning your child's passion into a pathway to prosperity at any age. Talk about discovering your child's passion and purpose, learning ways to use their passions to develop work ethic, integrity, entrepreneurship, studiousness, and developing your child's passion by creating opportunities that can be even more valuable than college. So one of the things that I want to say, I want to open up our minds. I want us to take a moment to just expand our minds. We're going to be diving into some things that may be on a little bit deeper level of thought. And I want you to put yourself in the actual place of walking your child. If your child has a business already, think about what they're already doing and how you can add on to it. If you're interested in giving more information to your child at this point in time, they're kind of curious and they're asking you questions. These are some of the discussions that you can have with them as well. Also, I'll talk about how I discovered what my children really enjoyed. And some of you are like, well, I know I want my child to start a business. I don't know what they like. They're not quite sure what they want to do. So there's so many questions, but there's infinite possibilities of what that can look like. So just looking at some of the things that your children are naturally interested in. Do they enjoy reading? Maybe they enjoy writing. Maybe they want to write a book, right? Maybe they're just really good at cooking and they want to do something around food. Maybe they're good at a lot of the technology. And there's a lot of people who need their services. I know I do. So, looking at what their gifts are and being able to hone in it. Our children have many gifts. So I don't want to limit it to just one thing. I think choosing what they're most passionate about first, and then sometimes some children have more than one business, right? They have different ideas and different things. They may be much deeper on one level with one business than the other. So looking at, those different options and steering them in those directions. Notice where your children, where they invest their time and their attention. And wherever they're investing a lot of their time and attention, see how you can turn that possibly into an entrepreneurial experience or a passionpreneurial experience, I'll say. Incorporate your child's business into their curriculum. I love this story right here. Well, Michaela Omer, she was a presenter at the Expo, the Liberated Minds Expo one year. She was absolutely blacknificent, just bright and really passionate about what she did. What I love about her story. It really exemplifies the family unit coming together. It exemplifies her great-grandmother who gave her the recipe, right? And the recipe included a lot of the health properties that we see now. It had flaxseed in it and all the things that they're promoting now, which shows us our ancient wisdom that we've had, passing down the culture of health is our wealth. Also, her parents are involved. Her brother was a photographer for a lot of the work she did. Her parents were involved in management and helping keeping things together as a collective with all of the works that she was doing. So I always look at, our passionpreneurship for our children. It is a family movement. And I had that same experience, and I'll share more about that as I go into my story. But look at this here. When you have the opportunity to really pinpoint which business that your child wants to do, I want you to think about, like, for instance, with Michaela Omer, say if your child is doing a lemonade stand, being able to push them to their greatest of potential. So the health properties of the lemons. Ask, well, can you tell me a little bit about what lemons do for our health and for our wellness? What are different kinds of lemons? Where do they grow? What does organic mean? Where can you get lemons wholesale? How do lemons grow? So we have to push our children a little bit further than, I know sometimes when they're real small, they're so cute. We get so enamored with just the cuteness and what they're doing. However, we want to make sure that we are really steeping them in the knowledge, and it can be in fun. You could do flashcards. They can watch videos. There's a lot of different aspects of books and research and all those different things that you can do to slowly but surely allow them to gain more knowledge in whatever it is that they're undertaking. Also, mastering the mindset. So youth entrepreneurship is nothing new. We talked about Ujamaa, the definition of familyhood. We want our children to be producers over consumers. We want them to know it's not just about buying everything. Some things we can just create and we can build on our own. And giving them that mindset also gives them a sense of confidence around their achievements and what they're able to do, that they don't always have to rely on someone else giving something to them. They can create something, even if it's gifts that they're giving to others. What can they make? What can they create that's of their own hands to share with the world? So building work ethic and resilience, integrity, knowledge and proficiency. This is a lot of the things that come out of our children being passionpreneurs in what they love to do. Investments, building capital and consciousness, as I talked about earlier, there's no success without investment, and also learning how money works. There's so many benefits from this. So I want to give a little example of my own daughter, my own situation. I love talking about others, but nothing is more personal and hands-on for me than my own children. And I chose my daughter because she was just so super passionate about what she did, what she loved. She was the one who actually ushered our household into being a vegan household. We followed her, and as she got more and more into health and wellness and followed me in the kitchen, and wow, how do you make this? How do you make that? Her passion was so steeped in just her love of creating things, of the beauty of plating the food and how it looked. And so I saw her passion for art in many different aspects of her life. So she really loved drawing. She always had some creative projects she would do, and crocheting and all of those different things. But I noticed all that coming through in the kitchen as we cooked together. She always wanted it to look a certain way. And then she began to teach me about certain things, about different recipes and health and wellness. So interestingly enough, a lot of times we feel like we're leading our children, but I want you all to recognize that it really is a reciprocal relationship, right? They've come here to teach us, and we've come here to teach them, and it's just nothing but growth from there when we work together. So she began to get further into cooking, and then move more into the vegan and the raw foods. And at this time right here, this picture, she was 12 years old. And one thing I always say to all of you is that when your children start their businesses, or if they have their businesses, tell everybody, tell everyone. And because there's so much to be proud of, but our children need to hear us talking about them and talking about how great they are and the wonderful things that they're doing. Because when they hear us talking about it, they feel it in their heart and their spirit, and it gives them inspiration and encouragement. So one of the things that I begin to do within our homeschool community is I talked about the things that she loved to do. And eventually a parent came to me and said, hey, I heard about this contest. It's a Caribbean contest where they have to cook with jerk seasoning, and it's a huge festival, and they have like over 5,000 people. And I was wondering if you think your daughter might want to compete. She was 12 years old at the time. And I said, I don't know, but I can ask her. So I did. And she said, I would love to be a part of it. And so I called the people who were running the competition, and they told me, well, generally they have to be 18. And we've never had anyone 12 asked to enter. And generally it's mostly restaurants that enter, or some of the local chefs that are in the area. So I said, all right. She says, well, I'll check with my husband and we'll see what we can do. We'll see if it's possible. So she did. And what came back is that I had to sign a waiver, because she would be preparing food on the spot. And I had to sign a waiver saying that, if anything happened with her cooking, with the heat and everything, that if anything happened, they would not be liable. So I did, because of course I would be present as well. And so she did this competition and actually took first place. And for the first time ever, when you think of, if you know anything about Caribbean food, when you think of jerk food, you usually think of fish and chicken and pork and all those different things. Well, she did a jerk kale salad. She did jerk barbecue kebabs, which is one of the plates. She did two different dishes. This is the one that she won with, and a jerk African couscous. And so it was a beautiful, you see, she's very meticulous about plating the food. But I will say that this actually opened up a whole pathway for her to be able to go deeper and deeper into what she loved. And so from that point, it was really on me. Like, how am I going to create opportunities now that she's so excited and people are telling her she needs to start her own catering business, which is the next step of what she did. And from that catering business, it just grew and grew and grew, because more people started hearing about her. From this festival, she was on the cover of a lot of newspapers and magazines and a little bit of everything. So from that point, she had a lot of opportunities coming her way. And at the same time, I was looking to create opportunities. I knew nothing about how to move forward with any of this. Number one, I just sat and I just listened to my spirit of what made sense, right? We wrote down goals and ideas. We began to create a website I encourage all of you to create a website for your child, even if they're not, doing a lot of different things right now. It's a great opportunity for them to see themselves and feel proud and listing all of their achievements and the things that they've done, the milestones that they've reached, and what it is they love. And it doesn't necessarily have to be all in one area. It could be if they like art and they like food or culinary arts and they like drawing, you can have it all on one space. But it's just an opportunity for number one, well, it became a greater opportunity as time went on because we met people and we could send them to her website, right? And sometimes even if your children are going for scholarships and things like that, you can always say, look at their website and all their achievements and the things that they've done. So with all the technology, we have to use that to our benefit and also to inspire our children. So from that point, she also began to dive into yoga. And so that opened up a whole nother piece, diving deeper into the health and wellness, having the support of the community. She did a whole yoga training with gosh, I can't even think the name of it right now. The first one she did was with it was at Spelman College, and then she then took a teacher certification and became the youngest comedic yoga instructor at that time in the world under that system. And she began to travel, also being an instructor's assistant, excuse me, with helping other people get certified, and then went on to start her own catering company on a deeper level because it was the catering and the yoga together, began to teach yoga and do the food. So now you can see how this is spiraling into so many other things and branching off. She began to do a lot of food for different congressmen and wow, Six Flags concert series. She did a lot of local baby showers and banquets and all of that here in Atlanta. So as you see, the passion really drives our children. If we choose the things that they really love to already do, we don't have to work at getting them interested. They're willing to go that extra mile because they love it and they enjoy it. So this here is Sister Sanaya Hunt, also another presenter at the Liberty Minds Expo. She has her business. She started coming to the expo when she was 8 years old. And I'll never forget that because she had her business and she spoke about it so brilliantly about her passion, why it was important to her. Also, she was solving the problem of a community. And I want you to think about your children's businesses. They should solve some problem in the community, right? Something that is going to leave the world a greater place. And so she loved painting her nails, yes. She loved choosing the awesome colors, yes. But she really wanted something more natural. And so what she did is she went on to create a natural nail polish, and she wanted to spread the value of self-care. And so this year when she spoke at the expo, she talked about not just her brand and how she built her brand, but also the importance of taking time and loving on yourself, right? Taking time as women to do our nails and, just to pamper ourselves and give ourselves love. So I love to hear that from this young sister because it's great that our children know this at a very young age. So this is another great example of when you are a passionpreneur over just an entrepreneur. Your passion drives you. That's your power. That's your mission. That's your purpose. All right. Also, Gabby Goodwin. Gabby Goodwin also came to the expo. She also was one of our presenters a couple years ago, and she solved another problem. One thing I love about what she does, she was, first of all, let me just tell how she got started. She has the little the barrettes that you put in your hair, and she said when she was young they would always fall out. She'd always get in trouble because she'd be missing all the bows and she couldn't find them. They fell out at school. And so she said, I want to create something that doesn't fall out. So she created this double snap uh, um, barrette for the hair that makes it a lot easier for them to stay in your hair. So one of the things that I love about her story, because everyone has their unique stories, is that she created a micro franchising opportunity for her company, right? So other young people just like her she could franchise her business to them and give them the training to be successful at selling her products. Well, one thing I love about that is that yes, at this point, they're selling her product, right? But at some point, they also may be selling their own product. So whatever skills that they gain from her training are skills that really can be used for anything that they do in life. And it also, I think, working as a collective of other young people who are micro franchisees, is what she calls them, is that they have the opportunity to learn from each other and to learn in a group. So I love that model. Also, Ziggy and Tutti, right? Very young. They have the first brick and mortar bakery in Georgia. They also have been at the expo as well. They're passionate about what they do. When you think about the work that they're doing, they're also authors. Okay, they're authors. So a lot of our children have businesses. Can they write a book about it? No matter how small it is, it could be a pamphlet, it could be a download, something that they can share with the world that's going to get them deeper into what it is they're doing. And also, it's something tangible. It's another achievement and accomplishment that they can share what they've learned with other people, sharing and giving back to the community. So it's that cycle of love, that cycle of passing the wealth forward is so important. Immersion matters. Why do I say this? Okay, our children have to be immersed in what it is that they're doing to be successful as well. Don't be afraid to sign them up for different conferences, even if they're adult conferences. They may not hear everything. So if you have someone who's interested in, I don't know, writing a book, right? They can go to a conference that's an adult conference. They also have conferences for children. It could be a physical conference. It could be online conference, right? Facebook groups. I know I have on here the Raising a Mogul Facebook group. They're an awesome group that a lot of the people I just spoke of are part of that group, and they help to cultivate young people in a setting that is definitely encouraging, in a setting where they're training the children, they're getting the necessary information that they need. Also enrolling them for classes and webinars, researching with them about what it is that they do. What's the history of what they do? What's the history of our culture and what they do? What's the relevance and importance of it? Because the more they learn about this, the more they become more inspired, but also just more astute of what it is that they're doing. Interviews with others. I know with my daughter, with a few of my children, I always had them interview other people who love what they do. Right. So when they talk to other people, it doesn't even have to be just in the field that they work in. Talk to other people. What is it like? Other Black families. What is it like to be an entrepreneur? Black businesses. Have them go in there and let that be a part of their project where they can actually write a paper on it. They can take pictures with the person. They can, it's charting their experience of learning. So also a lot of times when you go into the Black businesses that or you talk to people that you may interview over the phone, you can interview them on Zoom, you can actually go there to wherever they're located, that you have the opportunity to, you can go anywhere with the conversation. You have the opportunity to build relationships and they want to still support you along the way. So you're gaining supporters and cheerleaders for your children as you're sharing and allowing them the outreach to learn from others as well. Of course, books and videos, internships and entrepreneurships. This is another way that my daughter was able to learn is she had an internship at a raw food restaurant when she was, let's see, I think she was 14 or 15 when she had the first internship there. And what she learned there was truly of college material. I say that because a lot of the culinary schools don't even teach the level of what she learned. A lot of their food came from organic farms. So she was a part of that process of being able to see, going to the farms where they got the food, how they grew the food, also all the different levels and the health nutrients that were in the food. She learned that was mandatory, how to prepare the food. And by the time she was 17, there was a pause in between there. She went back when she was 17 to work there, and she actually was the head chef at that restaurant at that time. So at a very young age, she was able to also get the experience of managing a kitchen, which is what a lot of people go to college for, and not knocking college at all, but just showing you how we can give our children that head start and be able to give them that quality of learning. And in an exchange for also, when I think of internships and apprenticeships, in exchange for helping another Black business and seeing how it runs on multiple levels, very important, very important. So a lot of the benefits, we have, it builds character, I love that because when we think about the things that our children are taking from their passionpreneurship, I want us to think about they don't necessarily have to do this for the rest of their life, right? They're not committed to this forever. But look at all of the skills that they gain from just being engrossed in that experience. The character building, right? So we're working through how do you interact with others? What does integrity mean? What does that mean? So if you have a customer that's not pleased with your products, right? And how do you handle that? What is the respect level that we give each other? Creativity, creative ways to market, creative ways to add on to their products, creative ways to meet people and interact with people, problem solving. Of course, there's lots of problem solving when you have your own business. And so letting them think through the process, helping them through the process, maybe even giving them some training or classes around problem solving in business. Public speaking, I think that's another great one that our children can take courses on public speaking, because I feel like anyone can take advantage of public speaking, but especially if you have a business, you have to be able to communicate what your business is about on any given level at any given time. Also, if you're doing a pitch for someone to invest in your business, all that is public speaking and gathering information, research, and knowledge. So all of this is transferable to all things in life. Also, them knowing that they're creators over consumers, which this is the actual action of that. Interpersonal skills. How do you talk with others? How do you welcome others? How do you just ways of interacting? How do you start a conversation? Some of our children are very shy. They're very introvert. So these are ways to begin to just turn the wheels just slightly to build their confidence and their encouragement to be able to step out slowly but surely and begin to interact with others. Also building like PowerPoints and things like that. If they begin speaking, it may not be in person. It may be, through a Zoom. I know one of my 11-year-old, he does presentations. He has an organization and he's done several presentations, and those were his first presentations. He did them on Zoom. He did them with a PowerPoint, and he's a little bit more introvert than all my other children, a little bit more internal, but the PowerPoint gave him a little bit more confidence because he didn't have to be in everyone's face, right? Like, hey, he did afterwards, he spoke a few words, but at the same time, he could talk through his presentation, which is building his confidence. Also, it builds work ethic and resilience, financial literacy. So they're learning about literacy, they're learning about money management, investments, passive income. One of the things I want us to think about is when we're setting goals for our children's business, we also want to set goals to where is the money going to go? Are we going to just give it to our children to do whatever they want with it? Are we going to portion it? You can have this to spend. We're going to invest this in your education. We're going to invest this in other investments so your money can grow. All of this is a process for our children to learn more. All right. Also, marketing skills. So they learn about marketing. What is marketing? To me, passion is the greatest marketing. When our children love what they do, it's infectious. They share that with the world. Everyone else is able to really connect in the greatest of ways. It also teaches them project management, which I think is awesome because who doesn't have to do project management? I mean, just managing a household is project management, right? So even if, like I said, they don't stick with this business forever, these are skills that they can use over and over and over again. And also the joy and foundation for liberation. One of my favorites also. The foundation for me for liberation is joy in what we do. I think all of us have great gifts that we come here with. All of our children do, even we do, right? If our children are able to express that in the greatest of ways with joy, like what is the better foundation for liberation? When we talk about educating our own, when we talk about giving them a powerful foundation, all of these skills from that one business experience can go into all the things that they do. And I look at the integration. I don't look at anything as being separate. Everything is integrated equally in the sense of even though you may use it less, it may be just as valuable as other things that are present. All right, so this is my information. I did put my information in here, which also is on the website, my link tree. What I would love to do is take some questions from all of you if you have any questions. And I would love to hear if your children have businesses already. I'm going to stop this share right here. Let's see. All right. I get to see everybody's beautiful faces. All right. Well, I want to know if, let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, ideas, I'm going to go into this chat here. Let's see. See if I see anything good. Yes. Yeah. Greetings. All right. Look at all these beautiful people. Okay. Greetings, everyone. We'll begin in a minute. Okay. So I don't know. Okay. I see some coming up. Okay, I'm not getting everyone on the chat here. I know she said there was some questions earlier. Okay, so do any of you have any questions? I'm not seeing them in the chat. Feel free to ask. Madasi, thank you so much. Alana. Yes, George, Ebony. So glad you all are here. Let's see. Do any of your children have businesses now? Have any of you started a business with your children already? And what are they passionate about?
Thanks, Queen. My daughter is working on a book and has this this seed, this bud burning in her for a hot chocolate business.
Okay.
But yeah, she has a really great recipe, some really good spins on it. So we're working on that to build towards the fall.
Yes.
Working on a book. He's working on a book.
So what are your plans? Do you have like a plan laid out? Are you laying it out just as of now? What are some of your thoughts?
You affirmed what, like, to build it into the curriculum. So this summer, outside of, we've kept it very easy because there's a lot going on for us in terms of growth in different areas.
Right.
So keeping it easy, and outside of just those general, like, what do we want to do activities, building maybe a 2-week intensive on the development of her business. So just taking them through the business plan, learning about value. So she has a lot of that mapped out already, but just to sort of help her fine tune some of those things. And my daughter, they structure, like, so we're not used to very much structure. So in terms of organizing and recognizing where, not that we're not used to it, but we're passionpreneurs, we're entrepreneurs. So we know what the freedom that there's a freedom that goes with that, with scheduling and what we get to do and not do. But as little ones coming up, helping to instill in them, like I tell them in terms of language arts, which is my specialty, and civics, you got to know the rules before you could break them. That's who we are, teaching them the rules so they can know where to break them and when they can break them.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's pretty much who we are, just and wanting to take the summer to do it where everything else is not going on, so we can still keep it fun.
Yes. And don't, you don't have to worry about just limiting it to a certain time. You can start off at that point, do a couple of weeks, and then, as you see the need going forward for the different, what I always say is, I always start with the origins, like when my daughter did the jerk festival, she didn't know anything about jerk seasoning. She heard of it before, right? But she didn't know anything about it. So I says, okay, well, before you start using it and creating it, what's the history of it? What's the origins of it?
Absolutely.
So I always start with there, like, what's the origins of hot chocolate? Where did it come from? And then over time, how has it evolved? What are all the different kinds that are out here? Because all those things stimulate thought. And I think stimulating thought in our children is more important than us, like, telling them what to do or them just limiting what they do based upon what they see in front of them. Because we have a whole world out here. And when we understand from a vast perspective of whatever their craft is, then they'll go even deeper with it. And when they have conversations with people, they will blow people away. Like, they'll be like, wow, I didn't even know that. Because they'll show their knowledge base, and it shows their level of seriousness, and it sets them apart from other people as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. They're sitting here with me listening as we're playing Monopoly.
So
we're working it out over here. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, I wish you much success. That's already successful. I already see the victory of it. And, if you ever need to reach out, just reach out. I'm always here to assist or just give
Thank you. I'm excited to finally have met you. I see you. I see you soon. I'm excited to finally have met you. It's a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you so much for joining in, for sure. And your name is Arden?
Yes. Yes.
Arden. Okay,
Yep.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Where are you based at?
I'm in Philadelphia. Well, I'm based in Philadelphia,
Okay.
serving Connecticut and Maryland. And I'm
Okay.
the director of Sage Academy. So check
Oh,
me out.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Yay. So you're
Yeah,
doing
thank
great
you.
works. I love
Thank you.
it. Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We'll connect. We'll definitely connect.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Anyone else with any questions? I love it. I think that's it. Are we good to go? The chat. Okay. All right. All right. Greetings, San. I see everyone here. Oh, Alicia, Adira. I see all the beautiful people in the house. Mallory, Evangeline, Michelle, Ebony. All right. Awesome. Miss Shawn, if I got that correct. Alana. All right, so I guess if no one has any questions, I'm going to conclude right there and just say Madasi to all of you. This is always my passion and my joy, my personal passion to share my passion with all of you and my experiences. And what I do say is, our culture is our cure. And I think if we stay founded in that, our children will be successful in all of their businesses. We have such a rich history when we talk about intergenerational wealth. Like this is the true intergenerational wealth right here. So I want to just say Madasi and thank you to all of you and continue to enjoy the second teach-in.
Thank you so much, Queen Taese. It's so wonderful to have you share with us in such a great
Absolutely.
way. And
All right.
thank you everyone for participating and being here. And more to continue tomorrow.
Beautiful.
All
I'll be
right.
tuning in as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Much love to everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.